Rugby League is putting the game in your hands. Never miss a hit from New Zealand's premier rugby league competition. Run it straight to the breakfast team Fridays from 8:20 a.m. when they tackle the toughest competition in town. To get the inside edge on where you can watch the action live and free, head up aucklandleague.co.nz. Live league action, aucklandleague.co.nz.
Hello and welcome along, ladies and gentlemen, to round 2 of the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership. We're here at a very wet Walter Massey Park in South Auckland for today's feature match between the Burger King Mangere East Hawks and the Marist Saints. We're very shortly going to catch up with Mangere East coach Matt Pilmer. And in the meantime, I'm going to show you a little bit of the weather here. It was all right to start the day, but it's really started to pelt down over the last few minutes, and we are set for a very wet game indeed. So we'll throw out now to have a little look at the weather and the conditions here at Walter Massey Park, and be back in just a minute with Matt Pilmer. And we're joined now by Mangere East coach Matt Pilmer. Well, Matt, first of all, the weather, it didn't start off too badly this morning, but all of a sudden it's got pretty bad. How does this affect the game?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just gonna even up everything today for both teams. Change of tactics for both teams, I'd say. They're a lot more holding the ball around the middle and some early kicks, I'd say, to try and make the other teams put a bit of pressure and maybe lose the ball. So, yeah, tuck it under the arm today, I'd say.
On paper, a reasonably heavy defeat last week, but what did you sort of take out of it? You know, the Northcote team obviously very nearly made the finals last year, so what was the kind of wash-up?
Yeah, well, we've still got a young team, and they're still learning to really play in that grind. And the game last week, we went into a headwind that was pretty strong, a lot of early penalties and drop ball, and Northcote had a lot of ball on us. So we defended our hearts out all that first half, and with the amount of ball that they had and we didn't, it could have been a lot worse than what it was. So I was really pleased to come away with our online defence and staying in the grind. I mean, they only scored a couple of tries in the last couple of minutes of the first half. That sort of blew it out a little bit, but the boys definitely fought back in that second half of the 10-all, and we had another couple of tries disallowed. So they came away in that second half feeling a lot better than that first.
A few real positives, I think, to take out of it. Having a look at some of the stats, I think you only got into sort of good ball situation once or twice in the first half and then sort of won the second half, so there's plenty to take out of it.
Oh, definitely. Like you said, I think we got one tackle in their 30 in the whole first half, which is if you don't have that ball against a team like Northcote, they're going to make you pay. So to get a little bit more ball and field position, we showed that we can score tries. Like you see, they have another couple disallowed that were touch and go. It could have been a lot closer than what it really was.
You got a very young team. Is it just about them sort of gelling right now and I guess learning to play with one another? Yeah,
absolutely. They're all still trying to find their feet in the Fox a little bit, I think. You know, I have got a change of team from last year. Some of those boys are playing Premier first today, and I've got some newer boys that have come in. Just still trying to find their feet in the Fox and get into that grind. And, you know, it's a lot more physical and a lot more harder than, say, 20s or a bit of rugby that they're used to. So they train well Thursday and Friday as well. So the boys are confident. There's a different mood in the team today. I don't know, just a lot more happier and a lot more calmer. I think there was too much pressure on them last week, being the first game of the season. So I'm excited to see how they go today.
A couple of injuries sustained last week, but you also welcomed back a couple of Warriors development boys, I believe. Tell us a little bit about the boys you brought back in.
Absolutely. We've got a Dakota Taimane, who's one of the Warriors under-20s players, former St Kitts rugby player as well. So he's exciting to see his debut for the club today. And our winger at the same time, Edward Cozzi, he's another Warriors under-20s player. So it's just bringing that little bit of spark out wide for the team. But in saying that, the injuries that we got last week were a couple of key players to our team, but the players who have come in have just added another little spark to a little sort of different dimension to the team. And like I said, they were Thursday night and Friday night, they just really had a good team run going on, and it was exciting to see.
Marist, a very similar team in many ways to yourselves. Obviously a lot of local juniors from within the club and a lot of young players. What are you expecting of them today? Traditionally,
Marist are a big, strong, ugly team. You know, they've got so many big forwards. We want to, I expect a lot of up the middle. When we played them pre-season, they really got a lot of quick play of the balls on us and broke through the tackles and came through the other side. And so we're going to try and sort of keep away from that, I think. You know, play smart, try and dominate that middle defensively and try and run these big boys around.
All right, we're going to have another look at the weather now as the rain sort of slows up for a minute here. But thank you for joining us, Matt, and all the very best. And we look forward to catching up again later on in the year when we stream Mangere East. So all the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now it's my pleasure to welcome in Edward Fusitua, the assistant coach of the Marist Saints. Edwin, let's start with the weather. It's the obvious issue today. Wasn't looking so bad this morning, but all of a sudden now, how does it sort of change your game plan and what you want to achieve today?
Oh, it has changed it big time. We're just going to play just simple football. It's going to be boring football, but just play it up the middle, and there's not going to be a lot of passing, I don't think. It's going to be almost like junior football where you just pick the ball up and run.
There you go, there's the tip. You've got a fairly sizable forward pack, no doubt probably got the size advantage over Mangere East, so do the conditions perhaps play into your hands a little bit?
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that that will suit our big boys, just grinding up the middle, but the ground just doesn't look too bad, so we might see maybe 1 or 2 passes out, but not a whole lot.
Tough start last week for you guys. You know, I think disappointing performance probably across the board, but what was the sort of wash up from it and what do you take from it?
Yes, we got beaten by a very good team. John Eklund has got that team well oiled. But we've learned everything. We've got a young team as well. Yeah. You know, we've got a lot of young team. We've got a lot of senior boys that have left. Some have retired, some have moved on to other clubs. So we're bringing in a lot of previous under-20s team that maybe have just been playing in the reserve grade. Yeah. We're blooding them in. So it's going to be a work in progress for us, but we're really looking forward to it.
You do have a couple of senior guys that have remained, obviously Toliofoa, Leo Pepe in the front row, and also Peter Savelio and Missy Mao off the bench. So how important are those guys to helping the next generation come along?
Yes, they're very, very important. Last week, they're the one that stood up head and shoulders above everybody else. Just the experience. We would have loved to have a few more experienced heads like them, but this is the cards that we've been dealt with, and we're doing the very best that we can with it. And we're really looking forward for this game to see how we go the next step up from last week's game.
You've also got a young fella on debut in the halves. We saw the nice jersey presentation earlier. Tell us a little bit about what we can expect from him on debut.
Yes, he's a very skillful young man, old Mackie. He's come through our under-20s, and he's a really, really skillful player. He's unfortunately when he came through after the under-20s, we had some senior boys playing in the halves. So Mackie is going to have to, you know, bring all his skills that he has, because we've always known that he has the skills. It's just that he was a little bit behind the pecking order, but now is his day.
Excellent. And in terms of the major work on from last week, is it just about completing sets and kind of getting into the grind this week?
Absolutely. We just need to hold on to the football. We only did about 50% completion last week. We're looking to better that. We really need to be in the 70 to hopefully 80% completion, and that should get us home if we do that.
And a quick change of tact, of course. I'm sure you'll be a keen observer tonight when the Warriors take the field. Your son David doing very well, mate. It must be nice to be right in the buzz right now. The club's doing so well. Yeah,
they are doing really well, and everybody down there is playing well. Yeah. So really looking forward for tonight, and hopefully we get 2 wins.
That's the one, that's the one. Hey, thank you very much for joining us, Edwin. We're going to let you go off now and finish preparing the team. We're going to take a very short break before we welcome in Val from the Mangere East Hawks to tell us a little bit about what's going on here, but all the best, Edwin.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're settling in now. Welcome back to ARL TV. My name's Troy Hardy. Whoops. We're just, I'm the wet weather guy, so obviously, you know, Corey the caller's up here in his nice flash polo, keep you nice and warm. And we have Valerie Louie with us. Val, I know you've been busy this morning. Tell us a wee bit of what happens on game day down here for the Hawks.
On game day, we're just all in, everybody putting their hands in, making sure that everything gets done as it should for all of our minis, mods, Premier's international grades. Yeah, it hums here.
So in regards to today, you know, a little bit around hosting a team. So obviously, you know, today's match, we've got the Marist Saints down here up against the Mighty Hawks. What happens up at the club? Can anyone come along?
Oh, absolutely. Look, in the absence of our general manager and our chairperson, I have the honour of being here with you today, Troy.
Yay, go Bell.
To be the spokesperson of the Hawks today.
Yep.
It's my duty to paint a beautiful picture, because it is, every single day, rain, hail or sunshine, here at Mangere East.
Okay, so I see you come prepared. You've brought a little bit of a note there. Before we get into that, obviously sponsors are very important, you know, to any club, and you guys have got a couple of fantastic sponsors down here, and I know that the General Manager of New Zealand was coming along today, Burger King, and there's been a wee bit of a hitch in regards to the weather. He may well turn up and be entertained by Tasha up there in the warmth, up in the corporate box. But talk about the sponsors and who do you have on board for this year?
Oh, look, our most gigantic shout out to the Burger King CEO, John Hunter, his number one right-hand man, BK Operations, Aaron Augustine. Look, we cannot thank John and his team enough for the endless moral support that, you know, they provide, and their BK sponsorship. We're a very fortunate club to have a sponsor who actually really cares about the well-being of our youth in sport and strongly supports the growth and the participation in rugby league. The key aspect of our sponsor is their support and the knowledge that they share, which we call on time to time.
Excellent. I see we've got a bit of branding out there for them in the middle of the torrential rain, so that's pretty good. Now, in regards to the live streaming, ARL TV, you know, was something that has been going for probably the last couple of seasons, and last year, you know, you guys were involved with it when we had the home games here. How's the club? How does the, you know, the senior committee and what have you, how do they feel about live streaming?
Oh, live streaming is fantastic. It allows us to be able to, all of our Australian, New Zealand-wide supporters, that it just allows them to watch the Hawks, you know, anywhere, anytime, any place. How I've even done it from internationals games that I've had to attend, and then, you know, I'm just like, Hawks alive, I'm just going to watch it. But, you know, big ups to the team of ARL, you know, for making it available for the clubs.
Yeah, and look, and I know that, you know, you've got a lot of fans, not just here in New Zealand or here in South Auckland for that matter, you know, across Australia and, you know, planted all around the globe. A lot of followers from Australia, and big shout out to one of the big famous Mangere East Hawks. What a legend he is, a Carlo Park legend. Had to throw that in there, Corey, is Olsen Filipina. And I know that, you know, some of their families certainly come in on the live stream and watch the games here and catch up with how the boys are tracking, you know, at home in the Fox. In regards to the SAS Fox, the boys from your point of view and from the committee's point of view, and I suppose, you know, some of the fan, the vibe around the club is, how'd they feel about last week?
Oh, look, what happens on the day happens on the day. Easy as that. We get back into it, grind. Next week, there you go.
Okay, so what's your expectation for today?
I'm confident.
Yep.
And the boys know it. So that's all they need to know. Be confident, heads up, let's go Hawks.
Let's go Hawks here at the home of the mighty Mangere East Hawks, and we're going to be coming back fairly shortly in regards to the rest of the live stream. Anything else you want to cover off, Val, before we go?
Yeah, there's quite a few things we just want to put out there. Look, Mangere East Hawks are in the middle of construction and renovations here at Walter Massey Park. Renovations are progressing really well. We aim to be open around about Friday, the 11th of May. At this stage, we're looking to be holding a grand opening sort of later on after the summer. We still have some outdoor areas that need to be completed, so allow us to do that, and we will definitely put it everywhere. You know, grand opening of the Hawks. Completion of the renovations means that our members will have functional space to utilise for administration tasks, sports and community events, and all those other groups that, you know, want to enjoy what we have here. Membership to date, look, we've got 48 teams registered for this season, with 2 more coming on board next week.
Right.
And, you know, for us, the numbers have stabilised over the last 3 years, and this year really shows that the Hawks are continuing to keep other codes at bay, you know, all that sort of thing. In previous years, our volunteers, such as these sorts of interviews, our volunteers have been referred to as soldiers. And look, huge acknowledgement to our volunteers. They really do stick by the club no matter what.
Yep.
The values of our club can be seen through our club soldiers, that's what we call them, with their dedication and commitment to deliver the best sporting experience to our youth year in and year out. I guess, finally, just want to acknowledge a few others as well. Mangere East Local Board, and on record, they've been the most productive and supportive board we've had since David Longing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he was a big rugby league fan too, Mr. Long. Yep.
The board is led by a very strong advocate for Mangere and Otahu. They strive to bring transparency and awareness to the families and community of Mangere and Otahu. We also want to put a huge thank you, we can't say it enough, to our trust funders. They've had a huge hand in assisting us with our renovations. So Four Winds Foundation, Foundation North, Lotteries Commission, Mangere Otahu Local Board, Lion Foundation, Trillion Trust, Infinity Trust, Auckland Rugby League Board of Directors, and Auckland Council Facility Partnership Team. Look, the support of the trust funders has been instrumental in rebuilding our club rooms, and we look forward to inviting everyone back, especially our funders, to see where their funding has gone and the investment that we've created. And probably last but not least, the future of the Hawks.
All right.
The future of the Hawks.
Well,
thought
the future was going to be tomorrow, Sunday, as the sun started coming up.
No, it's every single day. So the future of the Hawks brings new opportunities on the horizon. We've spread our wings a bit. And we're currently planning to build a community clinic. Yep, we're going to bring that to the Hawks. And it's going to benefit both our members and the growing community. So what does this mean? Watch the space.
Awesome. Well, look, on behalf of the Auckland Rugby League, congratulations on all the success that you're having here at the club. I know there's a lot of work going on, and you're right, big shout out to all the volunteers, not just here at Mangere East, but across Auckland region wide. So, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready for the game of the day, the Marist Saints up against the mighty Mangere East Hawks. Thanks, Val, for your time, and we're going to get ready now to just break back to the weather as we see some of the dugouts coming across from the Prem 1's game. And we'll get Corey back into the studio here as we get ready for kickoff. Thanks very much. Don't go away, folks. We're getting ready very shortly. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've just finished talking to Val down here at the Mangere East Hawks, and Corey's now just joined us. G'day, Corey. How you going, mate?
Yeah, good to be back in the booth, and the weather just starting to clear up. We've also got with us the Roy Chan Memorial Cup, which Marist are the current holders of. They won that one in a pre-season game earlier this year, so that goes back on the line again today, commemorating the life of Roy Chan, who was involved with both clubs prior to his tragic death a few years ago. So a bit of silverware on the line, as well as two crucial SAS Fox Memorial Premiership points.
Yeah,
we may
for
get
sure.
our cameraman to pan back to have a look at what's going on now as we build up towards kickoff here, and we'll run you through some of the results from last week. Starting with the Richmond Bulldogs and Howick Hornets, who clashed at Greyland Park. That one was a real thriller, won by Howick in the end, 20 points to 16. Connor Morris scoring a double in that one and proving the difference there at Greyland to get off to a good start. Pretty solid hit out for the Bulldogs, so Troy, I think they will have taken plenty from that one to foot it with a team that, obviously was knocked out in the major semi-finals last year. A real positive for Steve Buckingham's side.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And I think both teams will be a little bit hurt from last week's game. and both of them will be chasing the W this week, and I think this will be a great levelling match. And, you know, whoever gets 2 points up on today will certainly put them on the right path for the rest of the season.
We had our live stream game as well, which, speaking of thrillers, this one was a real humdinger of a game, really. Won by Point Chevalier in the end, 11 points to 10. It was a Tevin Arona field goal with about 5 minutes to go, which separated them after they'd been locked at 10-all for the best part of the second half. So an excellent game there, and for Point Chevalier, well, they picked up the Connacht Minolta Root Rooster and the Stormont Shield, as well as the 2 points in that one. So a huge win for the Pirates, and the Shield goes back on the line this week against the Richmond Bulldogs. Marist Saints, who we are streaming today, they went down in a fairly heavy defeat to the Otahu Leopards, 30 points to 6. A great start for John Ackland's team back in the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership after a short break down in the second division. And they are back with a bang, I believe, leading the reserves competition heading into this round as well. So a real positive start to the year for the Leopards. Mount Albert and Papakura met at Prince Edward Park, and it was Mount Albert who were 30-10 winners. Mount Albert showing off some of those classy new signings that they've brought back in. Sala Faliloa-Malio, a standout, as well as little brother Johnny Faliloa-Malio, who set up 2 tries, scored 1 himself, and picked up a number of Player of the Day points in the process. So a good win there for Mount Albert under Keith Hanley and Cody Walker. And, of course, the Mangere East Hawks, our other streamed game today. They went down 28-10 against the Northcote Tigers. Played in tricky conditions out at Walter Massey Park. Of course, the park's been closed for a good section of the off-season as repairs have been going on to the ground. Also got big renovations going on at the club as well. So that one, 28-10, Mangere East going down there. So both teams looking to bounce back this week. They both started 0-2 last year and will be desperate to avoid it happening again. And so we are set for a good clash between 2 youthful sides full of local club juniors. And it should be a fantastic game here. We're about 10 minutes from kickoff. As we count down here now, we'll run you through the competition ladder in a few minutes' time. And also have a look at the 2 teams who are going to take the field. So the rain starting to slow down here now. Things starting to dry up. The field in surprisingly good nick as we see the ladder jump up there. And on top it is the Otahu Leopards, John Ackland, back in charge, back in the first division, and starts off with a win. The Mount Albert Lions in second position. Northcote Tigers are third. Howell Hornets fourth. Point Chevalier Pirates in fifth after that 1-point victory last week, and then followed by the teams who were beaten in round 1. There's the Glenora Bears, the Richmond Bulldogs, the Mangere East Hawks, the Papakura Sea Eagles, and the Marist Saints. So you can see there the importance of this game for both the Saints and Hawks, and they last met in a competition game in the last round of last year. It was a great game won by the Mangere East Hawks. So we're just counting down to kick-off now, the final few minutes. Our middle referee is Jamal Thompson.
Can you hear me?
An experienced referee who has officiated at New South Wales Cup level over the years, also officiated at the NRL Nines. So a vastly experienced official who no doubt will take control of this game really well. And a big shout out to our Auckland Rugby League's Referees Association. You can follow them on the Facebook page, Auckland Rugby League Referees, and also their website, and all the details also available on aucklandleague.co.nz. So we're going to welcome Troy Hardy back into the commentary booth in a minute now, and Troy, a game between 2 teams who will be pretty desperate to sort of shake the duck, I guess, and get going. They won't want to make a sluggish start this year.
Absolutely, and I think talking to Edwin Fusitu'a at the start of the match, you know, he touched on wet weather football, so they'll be wanting to complete their sets. They're looking for 80% completion rate, and in this sort of weather, I think that'll put them in good stead for both teams.
Now we are going to quickly have a look at some of the other action going on across Auckland, remembering we've still got just the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership kicking off this weekend, the Sharman Cup, the Crown Lift Trucks Sharman Cup kicking off next weekend, so looking forward to that. We were due to have all our mini and mods start this weekend, Troy, but a few power lines down across Auckland and some wet weather soon put a halt to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there'll be much junior football happening this weekend, mate. Be a lot of swimming, though, outside and playing in the gutters as they're doing, you know, paper mache tin boats and letting them race down the gutter.
That's right. So now just to have a little look at some of the other games going on across Auckland today in the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership. We've got Mount Albert taking on Northcote.
Oh, what a clash that'll be.
Yeah, a clash of two pre-season favourites. Plenty of talk around Northcote, who I understand weren't sort of fully satisfied with their performance last week. They come up against the Mount Albert Lions, and plenty of familiar faces for both teams in that one. So that one being played at Felds Park. All these games kicking off at 2:30 p.m. Glenora host Papakura at Harold Moody. Back-to-back home games to start the year for the Glenora Bears, who will be pretty disappointed with their performance last week. Troy, they had a couple of chances to win that game, but unfortunately just couldn't capitalise.
Yeah, and you know, going back to that match, I think there was a couple of opportunities there where they decided not to take the 2 points that were on offer. You know, we saw just before the close of the first half, I think it was, there was 2 points up for grabs there from a penalty. They decided to tap and go. And then deep into the second half, there was another opportunity there, I think, from memory, where they had another 2 points on offer, and they decided to tap and go there. So that probably played into points' hands at the end. And I think for memory too, well, that's a great memory, that I called it 20 minutes out, there's going to be a drop goal here, Corey, and bang, there it was.
Yeah, that's right, like shooting fish in a barrel. But anyway, back to the other games going on across Auckland. Paparoa Park is, well, the late host of the Howell Hornets versus Otahuhu Leopards. That one was due to be played at Burt Henham, but some down power lines there meant no football could be played there, and unfortunately, we've just found out means the cancellation of the women's nine-a-side tournament, which was due to be held there tomorrow as well. So that one to be played at Paparoa Park. Howell taking on Otahuhu. Going to be interesting to see what the Leopards have got against one of the top teams from last year. And in the remaining game, Point Chevalier versus Richmond. Now that one shapes as a good one. It's a real rivalry game, a Central Auckland rivalry game. The Pirates are back at Walker Park. I think their first game there in a couple of years, Troy, due to field unavailability. So yeah. Point Chev will be keen to build on last week. Yes,
I believe so. And I think there was a wee bit of work done there on their playing surface. It definitely was off bounds last season. They played a lot of their games, as you know, at Unitec up there in Carrington. So they'll be looking to be back at home at Walker Park, the Velocity Wind Tunnel, we like to call it. And, you know, it's a few blocks from their clubhouse, so they'll be wrapped about that. And that will be another great match to see, you know, a local derby, to say the least.
So just a few minutes away from kickoff, ladies and gentlemen. We're now going to have a look at the two teams who will take the field today and run you through those lineups, as the rain completely stops here now at Walter Massey Park, which can only add to the spectacle. We heard both coaches speak about the weather and the effect that may have. So we'll run you first through the Burger King Mangere East Hawks, and there are a few changes. The back is Ed Wayne, Molly Silafai. The wingers, Louis Lahangawa and Edward Kossi. In the centres, Talamoni Finau and Dakota Taimani. The halves are Howard Brown and Inga Limoni. Up front in the engine room, Vili Tukia and Kalani Ili in the front row. Samu Lauhangawa is the hooker, and in the back row, Nicholas Halalilo, Jacob Tamua, and Junior Afoa locks the scrum. And on the bench for the Mangere East Hawks, their player of the day last week, Connor Brown, Lewis Hariti, Eddie Tiriari, and Frank Fangupo. So that is your home team, the Burger King Mangere East Hawks, who are just making their way onto the field now. And now a look at their opponents today. The Marist Saints at the back, Sangili Pa'amo. The wingers are Jack Aquino and Christian Ulukita. The centres, Josh Tomasio Russell and Wallace Tiorima. The halves, Peter Savilio, and the boy on debut, Mac Numia, the 25-year-old, makes his SAS Fox Memorial Premiership debut. We attended the jersey presentation a few minutes ago in the sheds, where his dad presented him with the jersey. Up front, Toliafoa Leo Pepe is the captain, wearing the 21. He's joined by Ma'afu Briggs in the front row, and Sunia Akuola is the hooker. The back row, Sam Suamili, Tavita Via, and Cree Braithwaite locks the scrum. And on the bench, the veteran, the 30-year-old Missy Mao, is joined by Victor Vakamailalo, Nimia Ilui, and Christian Tuimasevi. So those are your two teams today for round 2 of the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership, as they make their way now onto the field. And it looks like it is going to be the Marist Saints with first use of the ball in this one. And two youthful teams here, Troy, so you get the feeling a fast start's probably key, get the confidence going and build off it from there.
Absolutely, and I think still, mate, we've got to have a little bit of patience just in regards to the surface is slippery, even though the sun's just come out now, so this is going to be fantastic for footy. Underfoot, though, as we said, a little bit damp, and the whistle's been blowing the ball. The big Steedens come off the tee, and here we go, ladies and gentlemen, it's on.
So Hallie Brown gets us underway. A kick down towards the road end of Walter Massey Park.
Okay, move now, 11 and 4, up and square.
These two teams met twice last year, with Mangere East getting the chocolates on both occasions, including our last live stream game of last year in the regular season, which was a big win for the Mangere East Hawks at Murray Halberg Park. That one, of course, ended up saving them from relegation as well. Went right down to the wire. Interesting to note, field goals kicked in both of those games and eventual fairly comfortable victories for the Hawks as Leo Pepe gets his first touch of the ball, and he goes 10 metres with 3 defenders hanging off him. One of the biggest players here in the Fox.
10-11 in the middle, 10-11 in the middle.
As Numia gets to his first kick, fielded nicely at the back
And stand now!
by Sila Fight.
Up, hold, go one.
Marist now getting their numbers. Ball spilt loose. Numia's dived on it, and we're going to have a penalty at the end of it, so it's going to be a Mangere East penalty. Marist not happy about it. So early advantage to Mangere East. Jamal Thompson blowing the penalty there as the ball comes in towards our TV crew here. A shout out to the referees, the middle referee Jamal Thompson, and on the sidelines Mina Normani and Sam Hill, the touch judges today. Ball has come loose, and it's going to be an error, so a couple of errors each way. Marist giving up the penalty, and then Mangere East coughing up a mistake. Right on halfway there, a big frustration of Coach Matt Pilmer's last week was their inability to respect the ball and get into good ball situations. They only got tackled once in the opposition 30 in the first half last week before putting together a fairly good second half against Northcote where it was 10-10. But unfortunately, the damage had been done in the first half, so an early error there for the Hawks. Numia now to feed the scrum, spins the ball out. Ulukita getting involved now in the work. And another penalty there, so discipline, a little bit of an issue in the opening exchanges in this one. A couple of penalties already blown. We did see a glut of ruck penalties last week as well, as players struggled to adapt to the new interpretations, I guess, or the clamp down on the play of the ball. Now Marist look to set up their first attack. Su'amili. Akaola now off to Leo Pepe. 4 Mangere East defenders very keen to stop the big fella early on. Akaola now into dummy half, looking to speed things up. Spins the ball out towards this left edge now. Tamasio Russell.
Leave the ball. Move! Hands off. Just stand up and play it.
Getting there in numbers are the Mangere East Hawks. Numia. Sarvelio kicks the ball behind. Has taken a deflection there. This might be play on. This might be the opening try to the Marist Saints. And it is indeed. And it is Tavita Via who has gone over. A scrappy little piece of play there. Sarvelio puts it on the boot. And it comes up perfectly for the big second row who crashes over. Let's take a look at our SAS replay now. Akaola spins the ball out wide. And then from here it takes a bit of a fortuitous bounce as Sarvelio puts boot to ball. But good work from the second rower following in on the kick. You can see there actually he gets a second bite at it. Takes a second kick. And then from there, broken line. Too easy for Big Tavita, and the Marist Saints open the scoring. So 4 minutes gone, 4 points on the board. Nice balance there for the Marist Saints as they line up the conversion. And Troy, penalty there, probably the key component in that one. Ill discipline, a feature last week. We saw a number of penalties. It's going to be pretty important today as well, I'd imagine.
Absolutely. And both sides, I think, sort of touched on this at the beginning. They'll need to show a wee bit of discipline and some patience. And, again, I think the weather will play a little bit into this game, although both sides are actually, controlling the ball well. If you've just joined us, welcome into the live stream here at the game against Marist Saints and Mangere East, as that kick is waved away, still stays at 4-0. We've just been having a couple of technical pieces where we're trying to plug in the audio feed. The weather has been bad, as everyone is aware, and during the live stream game, if we get down to our left-hand top corner here for Marist attacking from right to left down on the Mangere East corner. You might see a little bit of tree action inside our view, and that's just due to that tree wasn't there when we came down to set up. And obviously overnight there's been a wee bit of weather problems, bit of destruction, and we're just going to bear with that. Anyway, back to the action, Corey, as they start to see the Marist Saints grinding it out from inside their 20. And two-man tackle to the ground there, looking for a quick play of the ball, and away we go.
Yeah, real positive start for the Saints now as Leo Pepe again carries forward. Boy, he attracts defenders, does the big fella, and fair enough. It's a very slow play of the ball. Perhaps lucky to get away with that one there, the Mangere East Hawks. Big contact there led by Afor.
Stand now! Hold! Go 3! Move 4!
Akola now looking to head back down that right side. Sarvelio puts a little kick over the top. It's a good chase from the Saints. Ball's loose, and it's going to be offside, I think. So nice play there from Peter Sarvelio. Heads up play, chips over the top, and forces the error. So this is a really good start here for Jason Williams' team. And a few worrying signs early on for Matt Pilmer and co. Sarvelio now to kick for touch. And they'll start this set 30 metres out from the line. 6 minutes gone. And it is the Marist Saints with the 4-0 lead. We mentioned their meetings last year in round 9. Mangere East got up 29-18. And then round 18, the last regular season game of the season, it was Mangere East 31-20.
Weather's been kind, Corey, as we have a nice break now. And the guys are playing with no rain at all coming down, just a slippery surface on the tabletop deck that they're on.
Yeah, it did pout down earlier when we were setting up, Troy, as you mentioned. So good that it has fined up a little bit. No doubt means we may get a little more open game now as Leo Pepe takes it forward. So they're only about 5 metres off the line now. Akoola darts out. Good heads-up defence there by Mangere East. Finau involved. Spin the ball right out the back now. Numia shuffles it on. Sarvelio, kick up over the top. Look out, danger signs here for Mangere East. It's a 50-50. It's been claimed. Wonderful work, Marist Saints. That's going to be the second try of the game. And I believe it's going to be Jack Akiano who has scored out wide. Wait for confirmation on the number there. But a lovely kick from Peter Sarvelio. And see here, the ball goes up. It's a good chase. And he just beats Molly Silafai to the ball in the end. Nicely claimed there. And it does look like it's actually the number 2. It is indeed Jack Akiano who goes over for the Marist Saints. And doubles their lead with kick to come. 8 minutes gone. Nice little bit of play there, Troy. That's 2 try assists within the first 10 minutes for Sarvelio. Good start from the number 6.
Absolutely. I think good start for Marist all up. If you have a look at it, is that a trend that's being set? 2 tries off 2 kicks over there on the right edge. Be interesting to see if they go back there throughout the day.
Probably not a bad tactic, I guess. Is the ball bound to be a little bit greasy, I think.
Of interest too, Mr. Big Leo Pepe has been heavily involved in the first 8 minutes of play. He's touched the ball a number of times and had a few good carries.
And Ulokita away with his second kick of the day. So the score remains Marist Saints 8, Burger King Mangere East Hawks 0.
And welcome in if you've just joined us here at the Auckland ARL TV live stream game, and coming to you via the website aucklandleague.co.nz, and we've now got a wee bit of ref audio coming through as well, so just giving you the heads up on that, Corey, that we can hear some of the action on field.
So Howie Brown gets us back underway. Frustrating years for both of these clubs last season. That's a huge contact there by Mangere East, looking to lift via their defence. But yeah, as we mentioned, a frustrating year for both clubs. Mangere East finished with just the 4 wins, narrowly avoided relegation, went right down to the wire in the end. Unfortunately, it was the Te Atatu Roosters who had to go down eventually. Wasn't a lot better for the Marist Saints. 6 wins there, and traditionally they've been a real top 4 contender. They've been there or thereabouts every year, so it was unlike
Bit of a
them.
bubble, mate. Just on that too, I think from memory, you know, that came down to the last game we live streamed last season, where it was actually the 2 teams that we're seeing now at Marist home ground.
Yeah, that's right. It was an entertaining game there. Howie Brown scoring a couple of nice tries from memory. Of course, Marist have lost some real experience since then. The Si'ili'i Tufeo is gone. Simon Admir is retired.
Here we go. I've heard the call. It's called the Linfield, so let's see what the Linfield is, mate.
So Akaola shifts the ball on now, and they're looking to speed things up now with the Marist Saints. Good carry forward there by Briggs. Wants the quick play of the ball. Akaola shuffles it on. Numir with no choice but to give himself up. Pala'amo was hunting around the back there. Leo Pepe now running down the blind side. Instead they go to the open. Briggs been heavily involved early on. Both front rowers for the Marist Saints making their mark. Salvilio, footwork at the line.
Good offload.
Gets the ball out the back. Akaola, a second one as well. There's going to be a little knock-on in there. Braithwaite goes over and touches it down, but a little knock-on in there. But enterprising stuff from the Marist Saints. And I have a feeling Edwin Fusitua may have been playing some tricks with us in the pre-match. Troy, he said, we're not going to see any passes, no offloads, straight down the middle.
There's no way my Tongan spiritual brother would be playing any tricks. And a big shout out to the Fusitua family. Must have brought a lot of pride to the Tongan community, especially with his young David, you know, playing in the last World Cup. But more importantly, as he touched on, the Warriors. So go those boys later on today.
Yeah, that's right. Kicking off just after we finish here. Taking on the Brisbane Broncos at Mount Smart Stadium. So very much looking forward to that one. Of course, a number of our Auckland Rugby League juniors taking the field on that one. It was nice to see the boys rocking their junior jerseys yesterday as well for the captain's run. It's Old Boys Day at the club, so a number of the legends returning as well. So plenty of reason to get along to Mount Smart Stadium tonight. And why wouldn't you want to as well? The Warriors are playing awesome footy right now. And Mangere East now looking to get out of this little hole they've dug themselves in the early exchanges of this one. Nice little dart out of dummy half there, but tackled well.
Yeah,
Good
got the big full stop there. He's having a chat around that one. And
Ball spilt loose, a bit of a hug.
Jamal says we're going to put the scrum down, and it looks like Marist's going to feed. And if you're looking to be a referee, you know, log on to the Auckland Rugby League website. There's a link there to go through to the Auckland Referees Association. And outside of the commentary box is probably the best seat in the house, being a referee.
Yeah, that's right. Good way to stay involved in the game if your playing days are over, or if you can't be bothered with the sore Mondays and Tuesdays at work anymore. It's a great way to stay involved and understand they have plenty of fun as well. The referees, a pretty good social experience as well there with all the guys. As Marist Saints now build forward, so they'll be really disappointed with Mangere East. That's a couple of errors now coming out of their own end. It's putting them under a lot of pressure right now. Olakita darts out a dummy half now, takes a few with him. Finau involved in the tackle. Akaola darts out a dummy half now. Briggs, tough to tackle this guy. He's got that rugged running style.
They're loving that right edge, aren't they? There it is again.
Another kick, up it goes, and another try, but it's going to come back, I think. And it looks like maybe, yeah, so he's called that one back there, Jamal Thompson. But boy, they are finding some luck down that side of the field, Troy, and they're going to keep visiting there, I assume, because it looks like Akiano's got the height advantage out wide there. He claimed that one pretty well uncontested, didn't he?
Yeah, and I think, you know, when they get down inside the 20, when you've got, you know, big Leo Pepe on the left-hand side calling for the ball, he's tracking a couple of defenders, and they're just, you know, putting a little chip over on the right-hand side there and making that a lot more opportunities for them, as you've said.
Shoulder charge blown up there, so is that the break Mangere East needed? They want a good kick for touch here, and it is a good one. It's going to start them 40 metres off their line. So they need to complete the set here, do the Hawks. Limoni gets things back underway, hands it off to Tukia.
Good run.
One of their real standouts last
year. He ran into the green wall.
We live streamed Mangere East on a couple of occasions, and he was always a standout, but another error.
Yeah, be pulling the coach's hair out. Matt won't be liking that, mate. What was that, the second tackle?
And it's poor service from dummy half as well. It was almost a knock-on at dummy half, and then the pass was terrible. So a frustrating start here for the hosts.
And that's the call. We got to complete a set. That's what they were needing. Marist having a lot of chat on the field, so a lot of energy there. Not a wee bit, a lot. Good crowd down here today too.
Finau leading the line there for the Mangere East Hawks. The outside backs coming in looking for some work here for Marist as well. Tomasio Russell, who's been strong to start this one now. The fullback getting involved. Hala Amo.
Few of the Hawks boys a bit slow to get back in the D.
Akaola there, darting on a dummy half, looking for the little gap. He had Briggs looming up in support as well. Come down this right edge now. Sarvelio puts the kick in. That's a good kick. And the chase is good as well. Great set there from the Marist Saints. Look at that kick chase. Nice and aggressive as well. Good tackle put on as well there by Suamili. So they're playing with plenty of confidence, are the Saints. Cheeky little bit of play out of dummy half there from Taimani, one of the Warriors development players who returns this week. Played the last couple of seasons with St. Kennigan's first 15 in rugby union, but he is a Mangere East junior. And a big boost for the Hawks back in the centres today, joining Talimoni Finau.
Another good kick. Big shout out to the Hawks ball boys as they walk by. Very happy that the sun's out, I'm sure.
So they desperately need a completed set here, do the Hawks. Doesn't need to be flash. Just need to make Marist do some tackling now. They hand it off and come back to the middle. Tukia takes it to the line, tempted to offload there with Afoa looming in support. Lahangoa to Afoa. Takes it to the line, goes back door to Howie Brown. There's something on this right edge here for Mangere East, but Marist scrambled nicely. Brown now is the dummy half. Darts out. Gonna go close. Gets the ball out the back. That's great work, Howie Brown. Unfortunately, the tree's going to obstruct the corner of the field there, but it is going to be a try. And put it down to the work there of Howie Brown out of dummy half. Heads up play, jumped out, offloaded to his winger, and I believe the try scorer was Edward Cossey in the far corner down there. Not much point in taking a look at the replay because the tree right in the way there, unfortunately, as Troy mentioned a little earlier, some of the storm that we've had over the last week here in Auckland has moved a few bits of vegetation around.
I don't know if that tree got moved, mate. That's a big tree. So I think what's happened there as part of the strategy is he just jumped out behind the bush and went down there on that right-hand edge. And look, big ups to the Mangere East Hawks. That's the first time they've been down in Marist Saints 20. And they've managed to capitalise on that and put some points on the board.
Their first completed set as well, wasn't it, Troy? So it just goes to show, when you hold the ball, what can happen. So good start there for the Hawks. Finally, 18 minutes into the game, getting into some good ball situations.
And just as we're waiting for the kick to go, mate, the Roy Chan Cup. What can you tell us about that, Corey?
Yeah, look, Roy Chan, a servant of both clubs, was lined up to be the head coach here at Mangere East prior to his tragic death in a workplace incident a few years ago. So a really nice touch that these two clubs put that on the line and played for it. They played for it in the preseason this year, so Marist are the current holders. It goes on the line every time they play. So a little added
incentive.
That's right, to go with the 2 points today. As Brown now steps in. And it's well away to the left, so the score remains Marist Saints 8, Burger King Mangere East Hawks 4. But all of a sudden, Matt Pilmer was something positive to think about there, and it was good play from Howie Brown. He was lively in that set, almost scored himself from dummy half before getting a nice ball away to Cossey.
Well, the sun's coming out now, and welcome in if you've joined us here today for the Marist Saints versus the Mangere East Hawks. It's turned out to be a great day down here, and a few people have turned out on the ground to also watch it here in person. At half-time, we'll endeavour to bring you a couple of updates around the Auckland region. Corey and his team, Savannah, will get a couple of half-time scores, and we'll be able to give you a heads-up on that. And Corey's looking at me going, really, as he eats his pineapple chunk.
So, Sarvelio, ball off the tee. So, a little false start there. few of the big boys in this Marist team now made to a little bit of defence there. All of a sudden, looking a little weary. And it is Tukia who takes it straight back into the heart. Boy, there's some good front rowers on the park today. Some big boys, some skillful boys. That's a lucky one there for Mangere East. A 4 reels it in. Good line speed, though, from Marist Troy. Getting up in the face.
Yeah, well, I think got a wee bit more motivation after they're just scoring that try, so it'll be interesting to see how they get their tails up. Last week we ran into Simon, past captain here at the Marist Saints. He's playing on the wing now at Glenora Bears. Big loss for the club, I'd say.
So ball goes up, nicely brought in there by Pala Amo. Doing their best to slow things down here, Mangere East. Lahingoa holding on into the tackle there. So they're making good yardage early on here.
Oh,
big contact there, just on halfway.
Well, welcome to Saturday afternoon football.
A little bobble, and he's got him.
Yeah.
He's kicked the ball away there as well, so perhaps lucky not to end up with a penalty hacked onto the end of that mistake as well. So there is the mistake coming out of yardage, and all of a sudden now are the Mangere East Hawks starting to get back into this game? Are they starting to wrestle a little momentum their way? So the scrum to pack down just short of the 40 here. Set evenly to both sides. The Mangere East Hawks. Brown feeds the scrum and he'll go out towards this left edge. Little second man play there, bringing Taimani in. One of several Mangere East juniors in the squad, and they get the penalty as well. So all of a sudden it's going from bad to worst for Marist. It's been a terrible 5 or 10 minutes for them.
Just off the boil a little.
Lemoni kicks for touch. So what have the Hawks got now? They are 1 completed set and good ball, 1 try. Perfect in that regard. Although I dare say Matt Pilmer would be hoping that they can complete a few more as the game goes on now. And back into it we go. Tukia.
Nice carry.
Spins it out the back. R4 is the first receiver. Sloppy stuff. Brown reels it in. Look out, he's got a step on him, this guy.
Nice ball, held up.
Kossi now with a bit of footwork. Intelligently heads back in field there. Finau. Darts out of dummy half, breaks the marker's tackle. Braithwaite comes in to finish it off. Brown. Nice play at the line there from Illy. Still going too. The Mangere East Junior has come back from a stint with the South Sydney Rabbitohs and the under-20s competition. Now Brown aims for that sport safe.
Nice tidy up.
Or I should say SAS up right there. Very deliberate looking tactic there, Troy, to aim for it, and it's not a bad one as well. But as you mentioned, nice tidy up work at the back from the Marist Saints. So good defence there from Marist. They survived that one. Off the error from Akaola coming out of their own end. Tamasio Russell now getting involved. Richmond Marist Jr. A plumber by day.
Fast. Came onto the ball quick there.
Akaola. Brings Suamili onto the ball just over halfway now, Marist. This is a good set. Savilio. Driven kick down towards the corner. He's going to turn them around here. That's a good kick. And it is going to go dead in the end, I think. So we're going to go back to the 20.
And just as they do that, there's no fog down here on the ground. I know that just with the weather and the humidity sort of coming in, the camera boys will be tidying up their lenses as soon as they can. Hope you're enjoying the live stream here today. Main game at the ARL is the Marist Saints up against the Mangere East Hawks.
You're living in last week still, Troy.
Yeah, pretty much, mate. Apologies for that, folks.
Brown. Good kick there. He's turned the fullback around. This is nice stuff here from Howie Brown. Turns Pala Amo around. Looks up and sees a sea of Mangere East jerseys.
Great run.
So both teams starting to find their way in this one. And just as I say that, I've put the mock on him because there's an error. And it looks like it's going to be Mangere East ball. So a key error coming out now as we head into the final 15 minutes of the first half here at Walter Massey Park. A little bit of rain starting to come down again now, although the sun is out.
One of the things I sort of noticed, Corey, is Marist seem really engaged. They've shown a lot of energy, and they must enjoy being under the coaching of both Jason and Edwin, you know, having those guys down there and bringing the team together.
Yeah, a bit of a change for the Saints, obviously. They've had Brendan Douglas at the helm for a number of years now, as we see a breakout on the left edge. And it's Lauhingoa who darts down there. Marist caught napping initially, but they recover nicely. They come back in towards the middle of the park now. R4 plays first receiver a lot, does this guy. He's serving as that third playmaker. Fresh legs onto the park, Connor Brown. Man who sort of changed the game when he was introduced last week. Tukia, another good carry. Boy, he's been fantastic to start this one. Brown. Limoni looking for a friend, can't find one. Tries to go on his own, finished off over the top by Briggs. A little dart out of dummy half here. Connor Brown, he's going to go very close. Good defence though, Marist Saints. Tukia standing to the right. They're going to go out the back to Howie Brown. Dribbles the kick in, ball's bounced up, look out, foot race is on, and Thomasia Russell's going to get there, so well defended again, Marist Saints. Been pretty good against the line so far, Troy.
Yeah, that was a nice little block there, and he managed to get a few metres too off that. So here come the Marist Saints now, charging outside their 30, and what happened there?
Another mistake there for the Saints. That's 3 in a row coming out of their own end, and it's killing them. And how much longer can they hold on? They've all of a sudden, from doing hardly any tackling in the first 18 minutes, the last 10 minutes, it's been all the Mangere East Hawks. So all of a sudden, they're under a little bit of pressure. So scrum to pack down now, 30 metres off the line. Howie Brown to feed. And Limoni shuffles the ball off to the side here. Of course, all mini and mod football had to be cancelled this morning due to the weather and some really dangerous conditions around the grounds as well. Still a lot of power lines down across Auckland. Limoni. Illy, great carry forward. He wants to keep playing. Thompson says go back and play the ball. Braithwaite involved in the tackle. And we're just waiting to see. There's something going on here with Braithwaite, who's now walking over to the sideline. So
Might be Bloodman. Yeah, the rag's out. Something's on his head.
yeah, so that'll be the one choice. So perhaps going off for a head injury assessment as well. Time's still on as far as we know. And the replacement player enters the field. So Braithwaite off, the 13 for the Marist Saints. And back to the action we go. Brown now brings his fullback into the play. There's something cooking down this right edge. Ball comes out the back. It's Takosi, but it's Ford. Unlucky there for the Mangere East Hawks. Boy, they look good when they come down that right edge. And
Just outside that tree.
That's right. That's right. Our favourite spot on the field. Molly Silafai chiming in nicely there. The old Eddie College graduate. Played in their first 13 there. Papakura Seagulls Jr.
Big shout out to our key sponsor, SAS Sporting Apparel. Thank you for your support and being able to bring the live stream free to viewers all around the globe.
And of course, we'll be back again next week with our third live stream game of the year. We're heading over to Paparoa Park, where we'll have the Mangere East Hawks in action again up against the Howick Hornets. Coverage from 2 p.m. with the game kicking off at 2:30 p.m. And keep an eye on aucklandleague.co.nz and our social media platforms for all the build-up to that one. So Marist making some good meters out of dummy half here. Pala'amo on that occasion. Mao is onto the field. It's a high ball here. Anyone's at this stage takes a bounce. They've got to be careful here to Mangere East. Ball loose, but nicely scooped up in the end. And he gets crushed in a three-man tackle for his troubles.
And just bear with us, ladies and gentlemen, as we swap between cameras. You know, one looks like we've got fog down here. I assure you there isn't, and it's not your screen that's playing up. Oh, and there's a break.
Excellent little run there from the number 2, Lahingoa. The most experienced player in this Mangere East squad. Look at the outside backs. Boy, they're getting through some work. Another good carry forward there by Finau. Connor Brown. Kossi.
Oh, the vertical sidestep straight into the defender.
Ill-advised when that defender happens to be Briggs. Brown. Brown dummies twice. Comes out towards this left edge. Good sliding defence from Marist.
Ball and all tackle too.
Limoni dinks a little kick in over the top. Good chase from Mangere East, but it's going to go dead. It's going to beat everyone. Howie Brown was looming up in support there, as he now does his very best to run obstruction on the quick tap. And back into it we go. So about 9 minutes remaining in this one here at Walter Massey Park. Round 2 of the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership. Both first round losers, the Mangere East Hawks and Marist Saints. Now we see a little bit of footwork here from Tomasio Russell, who makes 15. Back to the middle they come now. Mao. Vaka Meilalo onto the field as well. As Savelio takes it to the line, tackled well in a three-man tackle, offloads to Briggs. Now look out. Gets it going. Ball has spilt loose. Great tackle there. And there's going to be a knock-on as the call. Great defence, Mangere East Hawks. Come up with the error, and I think it may have been Lewis Hariti on the tackle, the number 15 off the bench. A reminder, folks, we do bring in some Crown Lift Trucks Sharman Cup action in a couple of weeks' time, starting off with the Manuera Marlins up against the Ponsonby Ponies in Troy. That one shapes as an excellent clash. Ponsonby, so good last year, fell just short in the end. And Rewa, well, we know they tend to start well. There'll be two big forward packs going at each other.
Yeah, that's going to be a nitty-gritty match, and looking forward to that as the curtain raiser to the main game.
Hariti.
A lot of chat out there with the Marist Saints.
Good shoulder contact there from Briggs, who's played the full stint so far. And they get the penalty as well to Mangere East. So entering a crucial point in the half here as we enter the final 5 minutes or so. Brown is now going to kick for touch. Doesn't get a lot on that one. Ball control, the name of the game. You can hear it in the background. Plenty of talk going on from both teams.
Yeah, heard the Marist dugout out there yelling out the get off the line, get off the line, get off fast. So they're wanting the Marist boys to get up quick and meet these guys in the tackle. Great hit.
Oh, some big contacts out there. Briggs has been exceptional so far for the Saints. Brown. Afoa. Limoni brings him back inside now. Starting to throw a little bit of different stuff at the Marist Saints. Other Hawks now, look out for the offload. They've got numbers out here on this right edge if they can get there. Brown instead decides to take the tackle. Afoa wants a quick one. Marist have other ideas. Looking out to his left. Instead goes right. Brown holds the ball up, flicks it out wide. They've had some success when they've come down here. On that occasion, Finau taken low. Brown heads back in field to the interchange forward. Fungal Pole. Howie Brown goes to the line again, aiming for that upright. The chase is good from Mangere East. It's going to beat everyone, and it's going to be back to the 20. So patient and brave defence there from the Marist Saints, who are blowing hard. There's a few boys down on the haunches, and they are battling. They've had to do a lot of defence in this last 10 or 15 minutes.
And just as a heads up, Corey, when we set the fields out this morning, the dead balls are quite surprisingly shallow.
Yeah.
You know, they're not as deep as what you think they are. And so, you know, the home team will definitely be playing to that.
Oh, and an error there. That's a killer for the Marist Saints. And the body language is worrying if you look there, Troy. Plenty of hands on hips. Not a lot of talk going on all of a sudden, so they're battling to get to half-time here, are the Saints, just due to that huge defensive toll they've worn over the last few minutes, and they're about to end up doing a whole lot more because the Mangere East Hawks are going to start this set 40 metres off the line.
Yeah, they want to protect this lead as they go into the half-time break, and they're going to have to work double time now to stop the Hawks swooping in on another opportunity down inside. So they're moving into the 40 now.
Brown looking for a penalty. Go back and play it again, says referee Thompson.
Picking up some of the ref audio on our live stream today, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it's not protected, and that's gone. Oh, no, he's called it a strip, Corey.
Yeah, so fortuitous call perhaps there for the Hawks. What do they do here? You would think they're going to keep playing, although there is a discussion going on.
Take the two. No.
Kick for touch is the call, or fractor tap and go. So hands it off to Tiriaiti. The Manukau Magpies Junior has been with the Hawks since 2015.
Bobbled it. Unbelievable.
And it's just killing them right now. The completion rate's going to be interesting to see at half-time what the message is. But I dare say at the forefront for both teams, complete your sets, particularly coming out of your own end where both teams have been guilty at different stages of this match. So the scrum to pack down 20 metres off Marist line here. Crucial they don't make an error in this set now as the debutant McNamara feeds the scrum. And now's the Eagles junior. 25 years of age, he gets his shot. Of course, was sitting behind a couple of pretty good halves over the years. Troy was McNamara, Simon Edamir at the club, who had one position now down, and Peter Savilio as well, who was the first choice on the other. So he finally gets his chance. I know the club has big raps on the kid. And a very, very slow play of the ball there, which rightfully earns Marist a penalty.
Yeah, one of the supporters out here behind the commentary box said, "Thank you, ref." So he was obviously happy with that call.
Excellent manners.
Marist Saints starting to load up the bullets. And inside the 10, as he called that.
False start, I think we're just going to... No, there's going to be an error.
Oh.
So, boy, they are shooting themselves in the foot here.
You know, they didn't even get out of the blocks on that one, and that's just a shame. They had an opportunity, time on the clock. There's only, you know, about a minute and a half to go. We're probably about 5 seconds off the visual clock, but we're within Kiwi. The other thing too is if you have joined us, you know, through the aucklandleague.co.nz, you'll hear Corey on the build-up during the week on Radio Sport at 8:20 on a Friday, covering off the SAS Fox, and we're syndicated the feed. It's going out live through Radio Sport as well as the herald.co.nz.
So is it the final set of the half? And if that is the case, what will come of it as Marist again come up with another fundamental error, really, coming out of yardage. Cossey looks to get involved in the work. Just short of halfway now. Oh, big
if we could get a replay on that, I think both feet left the ground.
Boy, the contact there was huge.
There we go. No, we've probably gone back too far, but that's okay. As a go for the kick, we might catch it. Here it comes, ladies and gentlemen. Well worth seeing. That's one way of spending your Saturday afternoon. Boof.
Oh! Huge. And as just as we say that, the siren has gone in the background, and that is going to end the half. And so it is the Marist Saints 8, Mangere East Hawks 4, halftime here in round 2 of the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership. A match unfortunately littered with some silly errors from both teams, but both have looked good when they've completed sets in good ball situations. We're now going to take a short break.